I have shared a notepad for you so that we people can able to see what exactly is going on. So well before starting with the very basic question. So what you guys know about SQL, or how many of you don't know nothing about SQL? So if you people can just speak up, or you can type in the chat window, then it would be great. So I just want the persons who don't know SQL at all. So do you have anyone? Okay. Uh, Fine. So Funny knows SQL, and yes, Miza, like we are recording the sessions, and for that no issues. You can just be cool. Okay, no issues, Divya. Like I just need, just to know what is SQL. Maybe you don't have a good knowledge or complete knowledge about it, but still it is fine. Okay, so I will say, okay, people who knows SQL, it is not necessary to type. So people who don't know SQL, just those persons, they can go and type it. So I hope with this I can understand, or I can assume that everybody in this session are having a knowledge of the basic SQL. So let's start with the very basic question that you people already know it. So let's recollect about the brief things about the SQL, like the history of SQL. So anybody knows when SQL got invented? So if you have a microphone, you can speak it out, or you can just type in the chat window whatever you are comfortable with. Because basically, I would be interested in having an interactive sessions rather than just myself talking and all. So better to have interaction, guys. Okay, so we are getting some answers like 1980s and 1970s. Okay, so to start with, yes, it is 1970. The SQL got invented, and it was invented by IBM. So which company invented it? So it is definitely from IBM. Uh, Guys, please mute yourself. It should not get disturbed others, please. Thank you. So IBM is the company which introduced this SQL, and initially when the SQL was launched, the name of the language was SQL. So stands for Structured English Query Language. So this was the initial name of SQL. So instead of calling it as SQL, people used to call it as a SQL, and but what used to happen is during the time in 1970s, there is some aircraft company in US, and those companies, that company is also having a trademark as sequel. That is the reason IBM changed, the things. So IBM changed the name from sequel to SQL. So this is what is happened. And now, who are the guys who invented SQL, or who are the persons who involved in that. So there are two persons. So one is Donald and the other one is Boyce. So these two persons are the one who developed this SQL language. So going with the next point. So anybody can define SQL. So if somebody asks what is SQL, so how you are going to define it? So basically we say it is a language which we use it to interact with the database. So in a short form, this will be the definition of SQL. So we say it is a language used to interact with the database. So this is what the simple definition says. And when I say interaction, what exactly this could be? So interaction means either accessing the data or manipulating the data. So this is the two actions that will be involved in interaction. So either we are going to access the data, that means we are going to retrieve the data, or we are going to manipulate the data. So when we do these kind of activities with the database, definitely we require a language to use it, and that language we are using is SQL. And now let's talk something about what is a database first. So now we have come to a conclusion that SQL is the language which is used to interact with the database. Now what could be the definition of a database? So the definition of the database says it is a collection of objects. So it's a more kind of bookish definition that we have, but the simple or the other definition what we have is it is a place where we are going to store the data. So basically I can say it is a location or it is a software component in which we are going to store our data, and that component we are going to call it as database. And database, in market there are so many database vendors, like leading one is definitely Oracle, and then we have SQL Server. So this is a product from Microsoft, and we have MySQL. Earlier it used to be a different company, but now again Oracle Corporation has acquired this. And we have Sybase, and we have Teradata, and recently Sybase was acquired by SAP, if I am not wrong. And Teradata is being vended by a separate company. The name of the company is also Teradata. And we have DB2, which is from IBM. So etc. etc. We have Informix, etc. etc. So all these are different database vendors that are available in the market, and each database will have its own architecture, its own advantages and disadvantages. So usually I have been seeing this question in lot many forums and all, that some people will ask, is Oracle better or SQL Server better, or is Oracle better or DB2 better, or is Sybase better or Teradata better? So they will ask some questions like this. But what I mean to say, or what I try to explain you is, every database will have its own stability, its own reliability and its own advantages. And of course every database will also have some disadvantages, and that is the reason the clients will be maintaining all these kind of databases in the environment. So it is not like one client will depend only on Oracle database or will use only Oracle database. So if there is a client, clients will definitely go and use different combinations of databases. So if they have 500 databases, they will maintain some 200 databases in Oracle and then 100 databases in the SQL Server or 100 in MySQL, so something like that. So that is the reason, never think that, Oracle database is much more, bigger or much more good one than any other database. So it's just not like that. But the only thing is Oracle is having major share in the database market. So being maybe expertise that it was being maintained in all over the years or something like that, or the more and more new features that is bringing up in every version. So due to some reasons, Oracle is having major share in the database market, and because of that we just can't say that Oracle is good and rest of the others are having some issues. So it's just not like that. And now coming back again, so database, now we understood it is a location where we want to store the data, but it's a common thinking like earlier, when the computer systems are not evolved completely. So during those times, we used to have our data stored in the format of physical files. Like if a school wants to maintain student information, nowadays we are having tables, or we are going to store our data in some database. But if you look at the schools which were there in our childhood or sometime, so they use it to maintain the students information in the form of physical files. They use it to take out all the things in a printout kind of thing, and then they use it to maintain that in a physical file. So now when we can have our data in physical files, what could be the reason why we need to switch to the computer systems in order to store our data? So there are some advantages. That is the reason we are going to convert, or we are going to store our data in the database. So the advantages that we have is security. So when you store your data in physical files, there is a chance that if somebody stores that particular physical file, or they can take a Xerox of that data which is there inside that file. So security will be very less in that case. But when you store the same data in computer systems, you can have enhanced password mechanisms, and you can even go and encrypt your data, so that security will be implemented to the max. And then we have faster searching. So that is one more advantage why we need to have our data. So if you store in physical files, it would be difficult to search for a particular student, or for a particular employee, or for particular information, I mean to say. But when you store that same in the computer systems, you can search it very faster than storing in physical files. And management will be easy. So when you have sorry, we have somebody joined. Can you please mute yourself, please? So we are getting some extra noise. Please mute yourself, sir. Okay, fine. So sorry guys, just I have kept everybody on mute. So if you people are having any questions and all, you can just ping in the chat window, and once we complete some part, then I will unmute all the lines so you people can talk up also. So this is just to avoid inconvenience in between the session. Sorry for that, that I am muting you, but I couldn't avoid it. So fine. So coming back to the advantages of having data in the database. So security is one aspect, as we saw, and faster searching is there. Then the reliability and the backup that you can take. So you can have regular backups being taken, and the reliability of the database will be more when you compare to the data stored in a physical format. So these are some advantages that we have it. So next thing, so when we have this database in place, how we are going to manage this database? So in what way we need to store our data? So we have those things in that research or something, what I can say, it's going on. And in 1970 or probably maybe in 1968 and 69, so in those years few experts they came up with some solutions like a hierarchical model. So one expert who deals with the database management, so that particular expert has decided that we should place our data in a hierarchical model. Like when I say hierarchical model, it's just like a tree format. So where you will be having the nodes and all. So that is one one proposal that was made. And the other expert, so they have specified that we need to go and we need to place our data in a network model. So this is one more proposal that was being brought up by another expert in 1969, that we need to store our data in a network model. So let me show you how exactly a hierarchical model will look like, and of course also how a network model will look like. So I'm just sharing my screen. Hope you people can able to see this. So this is the basic or the classic hierarchical model, where you can see it will be basically storing the data in the form of tree, where this component we would be calling it as the root. So whatever we have here, we are going to call it as root, and whatever the below portion we have, so these we are going to call it as branches, and of course finally the lower component we have is the leaves. So basically one expert, Oracle database expert, or not Oracle database expert, the database management expert, they proposed this solution. And then other expert, as I said, they came with the network model. So the network model will be like this, where you can see different they are getting connected to each other. So this is what basically happens in network model. In hierarchical model, there will be no connection between the two components, but or the two entities, whereas in network model you will be having that difference. But what people observed is, either in hierarchical model or the network model, there are some disadvantages that are being came in. So that's the reason people are just waiting for the much more better solution, and that is where in 1970 EF Cord, as I hope most of you people might be knowing about him. So EF Cord came with a solution called relational database management, or simply we say relational model. So where he said that instead of having the data stored in hierarchical model or the network model, we need to have our data in a relational model. Means there should be two I mean to say our data should be basically stored in the form of tables, and whenever you have two tables, they should have a relationship between them. So this is what the very fundamentals of the relational model what EFCOR talks about, and later on it was developed further, and it became RDBMS, so which stands for Relational Database Management System. So this is what the EFCOR proposal was, and to have the support for this particular relational model, EFCOT published some white papers, or he published some articles in different journals and all, and finally he came with some 12 rules that were defined. So we will be discussing about what are those 12 rules, etc., and all at later point of time. So this is what basically EFCOD has done, and with those 12 rules what EFCOD has defined, everybody got satisfied with that, and people have not seen much disadvantages with this relational model. And in 1980s, this relational model was made as ANSI standard. So when I say this particular thing was made as ANSI standard, so what exactly this means? So when you have some software component made as ANSI standard, it means that you are going to have different database vendors, like we have Oracle or Microsoft or SAP or IBM. So these vendors, what they can do is they can take this relational model and they can develop their own databases or their own RDBMS. So that is the concept of ANSI standard. Like once you make any product as ANSI standard, any software product as ANSI standard, without disturbing the functionality of the product, you can design or you can create your own products. So let me give you a small example to understand this. For example, I have made a car engine and I made it that as an ANSI standard. So without disturbing the basic functionality of car engine, suppose Maruti can develop their own car engines. So you might be seeing in newspaper advertisements or TVs that they are having some engines like K10 series, etc. Or using the same standard, Ford can create its own car engines, or some other company can develop their own car engines. So maybe the car engines are different for different companies, but every car engine will do the same activity. That is either moving the car forward or moving the car backward. So if you take, apart from this, no company was made something like a car which can fly. So till now at least we don't have that thing. Maybe in future it might be possible. So this is what you mean to say by ANSI standard. Once you made something as ANSI standard, you can derive the original functionality and you can develop your own product out of it. So this relational model was made as ANSI standard in 1980s, and from there Oracle Corporation developed its own RDBMS, and Microsoft developed its own RDBMS, and everybody started their own RDBMS. And later on, to this RDBMS, people added the OOPS concepts. So when C++ got introduced with OOPS concepts, so people added those OOPS concepts, and that was made as ORDBMS. So RDBMS with OOPS concepts, we are going to call it as ORDBMS. But very few databases we have in the market which are ORDBMS. Even our Oracle database is RDBMS, it's not ORDBMS. It doesn't have any OOPS concepts implemented. And like how the relational model was made as ANSI standard in 1980s, in 1983 even SQL was made as ANSI standard. So again what happened is, because SQL was made as ANSI standard, then people started developing their own SQLs. Like Oracle Corporation developed its own SQL which we call it as Oracle SQL. And Microsoft developed its own SQL, which people used to call it as TSQL or transaction SQL. And IBM developed its own SQL, which it call it as TSO. So like this, different vendors developed their own different format of SQLs. But ultimately, every SQL will do the same activity. That is what we discussed in the definition of SQL. So either it is TSO or either it is TSQL or either it is Oracle SQL. Every SQL language is going to do the same activity. That is, either they are going to retrieve the data from the database, or they are going to insert or delete or update, or some manipulation is going to be performed on the database. So this is what is basically about the SQL history. So I'm just unmuting all the lines. So if people are having any questions, you can just speak up, or you can just type in the chat window also. So anyone? Guys, please. Shiva, can you mute yourself, please? People who are not speaking, please, guys, try to understand. It will disturb others a lot. So if you are not speaking, please just mute. And people who are having any questions, please just open it. So no one is having any questions. Can I expect like that? Okay, fine. So now let's start with the next part. Like even though SQL as a single entity, we look at as a single language, but still SQL was divided into sub languages. So there are totally 5 sub languages in SQL. So let us go and see about them. So starting with the very first one, that is data definition language. So as EF part says that we need to store our data in the form of tables. To create those tables or to manipulate those tables, we need one language, or we need some set of commands, and for that SQL is having a separate sub language, which we call it as data definition language, or shortly people will call it as DDL. And under this we have 4 commands. So starting with create, so this command is used to create a table. And then alter, this command is used to alter the table. Like once you create the table, if you want to change something to the structure of the table, then you will be using this alter command. And then we have truncate command. So this is basically to remove the data, or to just clean up entire data from the table. And finally we have a drop command, where with this you can just remove the table from the database itself. So these are the 4 regular commands that we will be having in data definition language. Now once you have your table ready, then you need to start inserting the data, and for that Oracle is having one more language in place, which we call it as data manipulation language, and shortly we are going to call it as DML. And under this also we have different commands. The first one being insert, through which you can insert the data into tables. And the next one is update. So if you want to update some values for the already inserted data, so you can do that here. And then we have delete, through which you can delete the data whichever you inserted earlier. And finally we have merge, where you can combine data from multiple columns, and you can or you can just bring it as a one column. So these are different commands that we have under data manipulation language. And then we have transaction control language. So shortly we are going to call it as TCL, and there are two commands basically in this, three commands in this. One we call it as commit. So the meaning of commit is whenever you do some data manipulation language activities like insert, delete or update, then the moment you give commit, then only it will be made permanent to the database. So until unless you don't give commit, it will never be permanent to the database. And suppose if we feel that change whatever we did is not correct, or wrongly I have inserted, instead of updating one value I updated another value, like human mistakes, then we have an option to do a rollback. That means you can go back to your previous value. And finally we have another thing called save point. So save point is something like the restore point. If at all some data was lost and all, you can every time go back to the save point and you can get the data back. So more about save point I will be discussing in detail in next few classes. And next we have something called data control language. So when I say data control language, shortly we are going to call it as DCL. This language is especially helpful in order to provide the privileges or the permissions for users to see my data. So suppose I have one table created, everybody cannot able to see the data from that. So there will be some certain restrictions that were there because of security reasons. So if you want some other person to see the data from your database or from your table, then you need to grant some permission, and for that you are going to use the command as grant. And if you want to take back the permission, then you need to use the command as revoke. So those are two commands that are there in data control language. And finally, data retrieval language. So data retrieval contains only one command, so that is select. So by which you are going to select the data from the database, and this you can do from one table or from multiple tables at the same time. So these are the 5 sub-languages that we have with SQL, Oracle SQL. And now what is our goal in next few classes is, we are going to start with the data definition language, and we are trying to understand how we can create a table. And all those, we will be going through all these languages one by one. But before that, we would be learning about something called data types, and how many data types are there in Oracle SQL, and what will be the difference between them. And we will be concentrating on something called table designing. So when you got a task tomorrow in real time, like somebody asked you to design a table, they have given some requirement, and they have asked you to create a table, then you should be in a position to design the efficient table. So table designing, everybody can do that, but how efficiently you are going to do that, that's one important thing. So that is what we are going to see. So as today is the first class, so I just want to give a break at this moment, and tomorrow we will start with the data types discussion, and then followed by the table designing concept. So, and the last 15 minutes, I just want to spare with you and try to understand if you have any questions related to the course or related to any other thing. So maybe some questions you may have related to certification or something. So just you can shoot out your questions. You can just speak up if you have a microphone, or you can just type in the chat window. So now the forum is open to you guys. Any questions you can just let me know.
అదే చికాకేసింది నా మీద నాకు థియరీ గుర్తున్నా సబ్జెక్ట్ గుర్తులేదు.
Shiva, can you please mute yourself? Yes, please. Any questions you can shoot out. Mute yourself, please. Yeah, Pallavi, I couldn't get you. DBA and rack. What you mean to say by that? Okay, I got it. I got it. Okay. So, any queries related to the course content, or something like that, please just ask me. Please don't hesitate to ask, because this is the time where you can get complete details. Yes, Pallavi, like it would take 2 months. So starting from today, it's exactly 2 months. Uh, Miraj, actually, like we do have fast track course, but not in this timing. We do have one fast track course available in the morning time. So that is the case, and the trainer will be Vikas. So I will not be the trainer for the morning batch, morning online fast track, because I have a classroom commitment. So I'm taking classroom training in Kannada technologies. So that's the reason my online batch will be available during evening times. And regarding the recorded sessions you are asking, yes, you might be getting that, but you need to just have a conversation with the director of the Kannada Technologies. So probably tomorrow I will ask him to join the meeting, so he can clarify more about that. So because I would not be the right person to do that, to say some information. And Shiva, like you can post your question. Like you said, it's about OCP. Yes, you can ask. What is the query you have? Okay, fine. For you, Shiva, yes, we will definitely guide you. To do OCP certification. And I'm not sure if you were there in yesterday's demo session. So uh, we have a tie-up with one of the Oracle's educational partner. So you would be even getting the discounts also. So it would not be a problem regarding that OCP certification. And okay, yeah, Pallavi, actually, like I am not having Vikas number. The problem, because I interacted with him very less, because he used to take online training, and At the same time, I used to take classroom training. So we have not met more than 2 or 3 times. So that's the reason I don't have his number, but I will try to find out his number, and I will let you know. Yeah, I mean, this what I got to know. He is currently busy with some project commitments in his organization, and because of which he could not able to, take up the batch immediately. So that is what I got to know. But I will just have a conversation with Vishnu, and then I will let you know. And Bhaskar, are you asking some question? Okay. So what is RAC? No, RAC is the advanced concepts. I mean to say it's a complex concept in Oracle DBA, or I can say an extension to Oracle DBA. So usually when you go with a 3 or 4 years experience, then people would be expecting some knowledge on that. So in DBA course, we have 2 classes exclusively on rack. Like we would be explaining you how will be the rack environment, and the architecture part and all. But definitely those 2 classes will not be sufficient. So what we generally suggest is to go for the rack course, because anyways in the future you will be requiring that to learn. So that is why rack is being one of the important concepts. Yes, Pallavi, you can drop in. I'm not going to continue. I'm just taking only question and answers. So tomorrow we will meet once again at the same time, and the link will be again posted into the Facebook web page and all. So you can just get the link from there and you can connect it. I hope I answered your question, Bhaskar. Fine. So any others? You are welcome, Bhaskar. No issues. So any other questions from anyone, please?
పవన్ గారు
Yeah, Miraj, I have just chatted you the contact number, so you can just take that one.
పవన్ గారు
Yes, Bhaskar.
డిబిఏ కోర్స్ ఒక్కటైతే ఎన్ని డేస్ పడుతుందంటే ఐ మీన్ ఇప్పుడు ఎస్క్యూఎల్ బేసిక్స్ ఇవి అవసరం లేదు క్లాస్ అనుకుంటే?
Okay, then it is 45 days, Bhaskar.
ఓకే, 45 days ఎవ్రీ డే 1 hour, లేకపోతే అంటే వీక్ లో 5 days అలా?
Yeah, actually it's 5 days per week, but depends on the agreement between you people and me. So we can even
Okay.
have on Saturday also. Sunday, anyways, strictly we don't have classes on Sundays. But as of now, my plan is to have only on weekdays, so not on weekends, and daily we'll be having 1.5 hours per day.
ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు మరి ప్రాక్టికల్ అంటే ఐ మీన్ మేము ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయడానికి మీరు ఏ విధంగా గైడ్ చేస్తారు అంటే
Yes,
సాఫ్ట్వేర్ మాకు ఇన్స్టాల్.
yeah, actually, like we have remote labs already. So people
ఓకే.
who enrolls for the course, you would be getting remote lab. So like you can access directly the servers situated in Karma Technologies lab, and there itself, you know, you can practice it. And the advantage is you will be provided with one lab admin also. So if at all you
ఓకే.
are facing any issues, you can ping him online, and he can help you out immediately.
ఓకే. ఓకే.
Okay.
ఏవో అంటే ఒరాకల్ ఏ వర్షన్ మీద వర్క్ చేపిస్తారండి?
Uh, like the as per you know the concept, we are going with 11G, but frankly we are going to deal even 8i also, because if I directly tell you what is 11G, you may not understand it. So I need to tell you, you know, how it was there in you know 8i, and what is there in 9i, then 10G and 11G. So I need to tell all the version differences, right? So even though we say 11G, you would be practicing more on 10G and 11G. Both.
ఓకే. అండ్ మళ్ళీ మీరు ఈ టూల్స్ గురించి కూడా చెప్తారా? ఎస్క్యూఎల్ డెవలపర్ అండ్ టోడ్ గురించి ఏమన్నా?
Yes, yes. We will be discussing about all the tools, you know, SQL Developer, Toad, or Oracle tool is there, Oracle Enterprise Manager. So you would be dealing with all those things.
ఓకే. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్స్ పవన్ గారు.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome. And Pallavi, I have pinged you the number. And Sudhakar, I hope it might be the problem with your internet connection also, because we are just, you know, I hope my voice is clear for everyone. Is anybody apart from Sudhakar facing issues with my voice?
పవన్ గారు,
Yes.
ఇప్పుడు డిబిఏలో పిఎల్ఎస్క్యూఎల్ కూడా అవసరం అంటే ఐ మీన్ ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేస్తామా?
No, not at all. PLSQL is not at all required for DBS. Even frankly, I don't know PLSQL, but still I have a DBS.
ఓకే.
So it's,
ఓన్లీ ఎస్క్యూఎల్ ఒకటి వచ్చుంటే సరిపోతుందా?
yeah, and SQL also, you know, frankly, we are not going to use that much internal. But in one of the concepts of performance tuning, we need that. So that's the reason we will be discussing in detail.
ఓకే. ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు జాబ్స్ వచ్చేసేసి ఫ్రెషర్స్ కి ఉంటాయండి ఒరాకిల్ డిబిఏ, లేకపోతే ఓన్లీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ కి?
It is not like that. You will be getting references for fresher also, but you know the chances are comparatively less. I don't say, you know, completely it will not be there, but you know, if you have 10 jobs on experience, you may have only 2 jobs on fresher. So it's something like that.
ఓకే.
So what is the thing is required is your effort is required. So if you are going as a fresher, because only 2 openings will be there, you know, definitely in these 2 chances you need to strike the job. So if you are going with experience, then you know you will be having 10 chances to get the job. So basically, chances are reducing. You know, the risk will be more, but nothing to worry, because the kind of preparation that we are going to give you, so definitely will make you to stand above, you know, all the other people. Yes, yes, it is also my kind request. If you are not speaking out, please mute your line so that it will not get disturbed with others. Sudhakar, probably you can just drop me an email with the issue you are facing. So I will just reply back to that. Or if you see me online, you can ping me in the chat. So I'm just dropping my email ID. So it's mymailbox.21@gmail.com. So just drop me an email with the problem you are facing and all, because I just restricted this question and answers only for clarifying the course details. So technical queries, please drop me an email or chat, please. So any other questions from anyone, please?
పవన్ గారు,
Yes.
మీరు రెజ్యూమ్ మేకింగ్ లోను ఇవి కూడా హెల్ప్ చేస్తారా?
Yeah, sure. Everything. Probably it might have been better if I could take demo once again, but we will be helping you in mock interviews also.
మాక్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ అంటే
Once you complete the course, before you upload your resume and you attend the calls directly, so we will be conducting interviews for you, like mock exams. You will be having it, right?
ఓకే.
So just like mock interviews, so we will be taking interview for you. And probably if you are there in Hyderabad location, you can come down to institute for face-to-face interview, or if not, be taking up telephonic interview if it is in India at least, or if it is in abroad countries. So I'm going to say,
Okay.
from which location you are?
ఫ్రమ్ లండన్.
Okay, so from London. So probably for you, what we can do is we can schedule a special meeting like this through GoToMeeting or something, and
Okay.
schedule a mock interview, and even for
Okay.
resume preparation, everything.
ఓకే.
And even we have something called interview questions discussion. So you will be, along with the materials, you will be getting 300 plus interview questions with answers, and we will be discussing during our course. We will be discussing those question and answers also,
ఓకే.
so that you
యాక్చువల్గా ఇప్పుడు పవన్ గారు ఇంకొకటి, ఇప్పుడు డేటాబేస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ జాబ్స్ లో అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ ఎవరైనా అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఎంఎస్ ఎస్క్యూఎల్ సర్వర్ డిబిఏ ఒరాకిల్ డిబిఏ రెండు వచ్చి ఉండాలి అని రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఇలా అడుగుతుంటారా? నేను చాలా యాడ్స్ అలానే చూస్తున్నాను ఇక్కడ, అందుకని.
right, it might be there, but it is very rare case, because most of the times at least I have not seen people working on both the databases at same time. So sometimes what may happen is I will tell you the reason why you will see those kind of posts. Technical people will tell to HR to put an advertisement for a DBA role, and HR being non-technical, HR not sure whether it is SQL DBA or Oracle DBA. So what HR will do is they will put both the things in the heading and they will post the ad.
ఓకే. ఓకే, అది నాకు చాలా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ గా ఉందన్నమాట. ఒక్కొక్కసారి యాడ్ లో చూస్తే ఎస్క్యూఎల్ డిబిఏ అని ఉంటుంది రోల్, ఇదేమో రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్ లో వచ్చేసి ఎస్క్యూఎల్ సర్వర్ ఒరాకిల్ అని చెప్పి రెండు మెన్షన్ చేసింది.
Right. So that is basically because of HRs not having the technical knowledge. Even though they add like that, ultimately if you go, they will take only for Oracle or only for SQL, like that.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి.
So anyone is having any more questions? Okay, so I have just chatted my email ID in the chat window. It's mymailbox.21@gmail.com. So you people can just send out, if you still have any questions that you cannot come up at this moment of time, you can just send out an email to me, and I will clarify your doubts, or you can even send to my Facebook ID also. So my Facebook ID will be PawanDBA. So you can just send out a message and there also, so that I will reply back if you have any queries and all.
పవన్ గారు అదే ఏమైనా అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఉన్నాయా సీక్వెల్ సర్వర్ లో వెన్ కంపేర్ టు ఒరాకిల్ తో చూస్తే?
Yeah, that is what I said, Bhaskar. Like every database will have its own advantages and disadvantages. For example, a SQL Server is more compatible to .NET or something like that. When you have .NET applications or any Microsoft related applications, then SQL Server will be very much compatible. And when you
Okay.
Java or any other ERP thing, then Oracle is better. So like that, everything will have its own advantages, disadvantages, and all. We cannot exactly say this is the best feature or this is the thing like that.
ఓకే. పవన్ గారు, ఇది సీక్వెల్ వచ్చేసేసి ఇప్పుడు ఒరాకిల్లో ఎస్క్యూఎల్ వచ్చేసి ఒరాకిల్లోను మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ దాంట్లోనూ అన్ని సిమిలర్ గా ఉంటాయి కదా బేసిక్స్, అలానే డేటాబేస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ లో కూడా సిమిలర్ గా ఉంటాయా టాస్క్స్?
No, the SQL Server will have completely different architecture than Oracle.
ఓకే. అంటే యాక్చువల్గా నేను సీక్వెల్ సర్వర్ లో TSQL చూసాను అనమాట. అవి చాలా వరకు అంటే కొన్ని సిమిలర్ గా ఉంటది అనమాట ఇందులోకి.
Similar, like SQL language may be similar, but when you come to database architecture, it will be completely different.
ఓకే. థ్యాంక్ యూ పవన్ గారు.
No issues. You are welcome. Okay, guys. So I hope we can close the call now. So I have already dropped the email ID, my Facebook ID also. If you have any issues, just leave your message. I will reply back. So thank you very much for joining the session, and we will be connecting again tomorrow at the same time, and we will discuss about the data types and then the table designing part in SQL and all. So thank you very much. So have a nice time till then. Bye.